Hey, it's Kim here and welcome to my channel. We're doing something a little bit different today because October 10 is World Mental Health Day, so I thought we'd talk a little bit about mental health. We've never really not talked about mental health if it's ever come up in a game that I've been playing, but I've never really talked directly about my own experiences like this. And I sort of want to start with a bit of a disclaimer saying I am not an expert. This is purely my own experience and what I've found has worked for me. If you are someone who is struggling with mental health or having a tough time right now, I'm going to be leaving links in the description of places you can contact where there are people who are equipped to be able to help you. I'm pretty nervous doing this. I've got a bit of a fear when I admit, that's not the right word, that I have mental illness and that it is something that I struggle with from time to time, that people will treat me differently or see me differently, or worst of all, suddenly think I'm dangerous. So first, I have anxiety. I was diagnosed with it a long time ago. I started seeing a psychologist during university to help me deal with it, and that's been really good. But in the last few years, as in maybe 3 years ago, I actually also received a diagnosis for rapid cycling bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is a mental illness where the person experiences two very distinct mood states, one of which is depression, the other is mania or hypomania, and rapid cycling means that the person experiences these cycling mood states 4 or more times a year. It can be very disruptive. I do a lot of things in my day-to-day life to help set myself up to manage better when I do experience a mood state, and I wanted to focus this video on one of the things that I do while I'm either depressed or manic or hypomanic, which is play games. I'm honestly very lucky that one of my biggest hobbies is actually something that I can use in a positive way. Playing games is something that ticks a lot of boxes in helping me manage, so I thought I'd talk about the types of games that I play and how I play them during those states and how it helps me. Depressive episodes or a depressed state, I struggle to do anything. I lose interest, or it feels like I don't have interest. Like, I couldn't tell you if I like games while I'm experiencing depression, which, if you knew me personally, is a pretty big deal because I play games literally every day and I love them. But when I'm depressed, it's gone. It's just nothing. I struggle to function. It's like my body stops working. I forget how to walk properly. It's like my legs are not attached to my brain, like nothing is working. I tend to dissociate. I also struggle a lot with suicidal thoughts, and on occasion there has been action on those thoughts. But games are something, when I start to dissociate and feel that way and feel like I don't work anymore, they help me keep going, because it's almost like my instinct is to drop anything, to not participate in anything anymore, because I don't get anything. I don't enjoy, I don't feel happy, I just don't. I do struggle to pick games to play, which is where my husband is really useful, and he'll tend to pick for me, or he knows what I am already currently playing. We have a little board that we write our games that we're currently playing on, and he'll load them up for me if I'm struggling to even get myself to do that. I think because of that struggle to feel like I like anything, I tend to fall back on old favorites, to go back to somewhere familiar that feels safe. For me, that's games like Final Fantasy X, Sly Raccoon, Kingdom Hearts, games from my childhood that mean a lot to me and I can just be, and I know it so well, and it sort of lets me escape from whatever my brain is currently doing, and I can be somewhere happy. Pokemon is also another good one. I think in the case of Final Fantasy and Pokemon, it's almost the grind that's good, because it's this small repetitive task. It's not necessarily too challenging. I can just go into a random encounter and participate and be successful in a way. And it's that little motion thing of just starting a task, completing a task, which is also something that is good in Stardew Valley, even though I might struggle to come up with ideas of what I want to do on my farm. I can just get up and water the plants. And if that's all I do for the day, well, I watered the plants and that's okay. And I go back to bed and then I get up and I water the plants again. And it's that small little repetitious safe space. At this time, avoiding narrative games that are going to be emotionally impactful is a good idea for me, because I'm already feeling so sad, and adding characters troubles on top of that is just not something I'm equipped to handle at that point, because it could send me in a spiral even further, because I am a very immersive player. I also struggle a bit with anything too skill or twitch based, because my reactions are just not there, and it's not that safe environment that I need. If I'm constantly being attacked, if it's tense, if it's threatening, it's not helping me feel safe, which I think is the main important thing when I'm playing games when I'm like this, is it's just helping me go through the motions and get through, and then eventually there'll be a morning and I'll wake up and I'll like things again, and I'll want to go somewhere new and experience something, have a challenge. I just need something to get me through until that point when the mood is over. I feel like to say mania or hypermania is the complete opposite of the depressed state wouldn't be too much of an understatement, where when I'm depressed, I don't like anything. When I'm hypomanic or manic, I love everything. I have so many ideas, and every single one of those ideas is the best one. Trust me, because I had it and I thought it and it was amazing. I can't focus. I'm doing like 5 things at once all the time. I'll have my phone, I'll have the iPad, I'll have the TV going. I've also got a handheld console happening, and I somehow believe I am actually giving 100% of my focus to all of those things at once, but I'm actually jumping between all of them. I tend to vibrate. It's like I'm so full of energy, I physically just can't contain it. Like I'll randomly shake. Sometimes it can feel almost unbearable. Like I have all of this energy and I can't sleep and I can't focus, but I'm focused and I'm thinking and I'm doing things, and it's like my goals, I can't reach them fast enough, and it can be frustrating and make me angry, and I can find mania and hypermania very destructive. When I'm like this, I tend to feel less satisfied with everything, because I suddenly have massive lofty goals and everything in my life is holding me back from achieving them, because everything is meant to be happening and I'm not on my life path anymore. I get very sure about how the world and the universe is coming in line for me, and I just need to follow it. So when I'm like this, the goal in the games that I play, instead of amping me up, even though that's the kind of thing I want to engage with, I actually need to play games that help me focus on one thing, are a bit more meditative, and bring me down to focus. Grounding, I guess, is where I'm heading with that. And for this, it's less one whole game more than just aspects of certain games that can achieve that, because I'm very quick to change my mind about what I want, and I can get bored to a degree with what I'm doing. If it's not keeping my focus, then I start to look at other things whilst it's happening, or I might change completely. It also can't be anything too tense or threatening, so shooters or action games where it's that real sense of peril and fear are no good, because that's just going to send me through the roof, because it's an excitable emotion that the game is piling on. Some of the best games that I've found for kind of feeling a bit meditative and quiet is the Journey collection. So Journey, Flow, Flower, all 3 of them are excellent for trying to give me that point of focus, particularly Flower, because it requires a degree of control. It gives me something to do with my hands a lot, to maneuver the petals. So then if I'm sort of shaking, I do have something that is keeping my hands busy, because I bounce. I can't stop moving. So games give me a thing to do with my hands, keeps them busy, and then the game itself with Flower is something to concentrate on, but it's peaceful. It helps sort of draw in that focus. Spider-Man has also been really good for this, even though it's an action game, because I'm a superhero. If I'm just in the open world section where I can swing around and help whoever and do what I want, I can fight crime, not feel too endangered. Again, gives me something to do, and it's kind of like a happy, cool vibe. Then getting really specific, Final Fantasy 15, but driving and fishing only. I loved the fishing minigame in Final Fantasy 15 and I would just spend days playing it. It was a nice place to return to when I'm starting to get too elevated. And again, it's that thing of giving my hands enough to do. It's got enough to concentrate on. You really have to pay attention to the fish and where it's going so that you can react properly. But it's giving me that sole point of focus. It's keeping me busy enough that I can stop paying attention to all the other things that I am thinking. And essentially, I end up using games as a kind of bridge to get me to a point where I'm able to do other things that I've learned from my psychologists to help myself manage a bit better. And I definitely feel very lucky that I am able to do that and use them in this way. That is so positive for me. I'd be interested to know if this is something you do or if you've never considered it and think you might try it now. I also actually use games to help me with anxiety, but they tend to be on my phone because that's when I need them. As I said earlier, I've got links in the description for organisations that you can contact, or if you're looking to find out more information about mental health. Thank you for watching and thank you so much for listening. I will see you soon. Bye!